Today I'll be showing you how to quickly pattern match your fabrics. Now these are just some small samples, but if I were making a drapery panel and I had to seam it together, I would want to make sure that the flowers and all these leaves of the print were perfectly matched. So a very fast, easy way to do that, before I sew anything, I fold the fabric over and identify on both sides of the print what matches. And I can see that this little section of the flower here is identical to this one. So I'll peel this back and I'll look at it, and I eyeball this. If you wanted to measure, you could. But I'm going to fold this fabric back and take my iron and just press this in just very quickly. Once I get that seam pressed in, or that fold, I can lay that up here and see exactly where that's going to match up. It's very important, especially when you're working with a flat valance or a cornice. You want to make sure that when you seam this together, it's going to be perfect. So when I get it looking the way that I want it to look, I'll peel this back again, give it another quick press just to get that crease in there. Then I'm going to use our iron-on bonding tape. This has a silicone release paper on it. And you can see this part is the adhesive and this is the tape. And the tape, actually, the silicone paper tape, you can iron right over. So I'm going to put that fairly close to the edge of my fabric, and I can iron right on top of this. You can use a little steam. And once I finish this and get the pattern matched, I'll be taking it to the sewing machine to stitch it up. So this is just a quick way to match the pattern without having to pin or worry about it slipping when you seam it together. Once this is all pressed in place, I'll let it cool, and then I'll remove that silicone release paper. Now that the tape has cooled off, I'm going to go ahead and peel the backing off of it. Now I have the iron-on bonding tape adhered to this portion of the fabric, and we can't really see it. It does dry clear. And when I take this to the machine after I've got the two pieces matched, you can sew right through this and it's not going to gum up your needle. I start at one end, and this tape won't be activated again until I put the iron to it. So I can really take my time and perfectly match this up and work along the full length of the panel. Now again, this is just a small sample to show you, but you can see this small brown area in the leaf, and there's a little tip of it there, so I'm going to want to make sure that that's perfectly matched up. Once I get it how I want it, I can go ahead and iron this down. I usually do a small section at a time, and that way you have better control. Sometimes you do have to stretch the fabric slightly. Okay, now once I've done that, I don't want to move this fabric at all. I want to let that completely cool. Once that has cooled, and you can see that the pattern is matched up very nicely. We don't want the client to be able to see that the pattern is off at all. So this is a very important step in my workroom. I want to make sure that that is as perfect as I can get it. And then when I flip this over, once it's cooled, I'll take this to the sewing machine, open it up, and I'll stitch right along this fold. And then I can go ahead and trim the seam allowance, and I'll have a perfectly matched panel.